I'm pretty decent when it comes to videography and photography. However, when it comes to building or assembling watches, I'm not good at that at all. So stick around and find out how I was able to assemble this watch, and it actually came out perfectly. See, the funny thing is that I've made multiple videos assembling these DIY watches. Sure, on the front end the watches look perfect, but in reality they never really work as intended. Not the company's fault, of course, it's 100% user error, aka Miguel's fault. That's why when DIY Watch Company reached out to me about checking out their 42mm automatic dive GMT Coke, Pepsi, and silver steel bezel watch, or the DWC D03, I was on the fence. However, I remembered that my friend Bryan from GQ Jewelers not only sells watches, but also services them and assembles them via custom builds. I knew or hoped he would be on board to help me with this project, and I wasn't wrong, he was happy to help. Look, I do encourage anyone to try and assemble these watches themselves. DIY Watch Company offers a comprehensive guide on how to do so and include all the tools for you. Hey, for all you know, you may be incredible at it, but in case you're not just like me, you can always reach out to Bryan. When I got the watch back from GQ Jewelers, I was impressed with how the build turned out. Oh, and did I mention the watch comes with 3 different bezels that are easy to swap out with one simple tool. More on that later. The overall feel and look of the watch case is impressive for the price point of $485. I specifically said the watch case because the straps it comes with are something we need to talk about. This watch is a little on the bigger side. The case does measure 42mm. It's 47.5mm from lug to lug. The thickness is 14mm, and in between the lugs it measures 22mm. Water resistance is impressive at 200 meters, and helping achieve that water resistance, it's a 6.8mm signed screw down crown. The crown feels very smooth, and I love that you get not only a dive watch, but a GMT watch. Oh, and on top of that, the watch actually comes with a mineral crystal display case back. Super cool for showing off the inner workings to non-watch people. I personally will go for a thinner closed case back to minimize the overall thickness, and to be honest, the NH movement is not that sexy to look at. The case has some angular shapes, brushing, polishing, and overall is very well machined and finished for the price. In my humble opinion, one of the coolest features about this watch are, of course, the interchangeable bezels. All the bezels are bidirectional, and although they don't feel spectacular, they do feel solid and they don't feel like they're going to go flying off. Removing them does require a tool, but it's super easy to remove. To put it back on, you simply line up the lume pip at the 12 o'clock and press down. The watch does come with a ceramic Coke bezel that's fully lume, an aluminum Pepsi bezel, and a steel bezel. In essence, you're getting a GMT Coke, a GMT Pepsi, and an Explorer 2. Protecting the dial is a double dome sapphire crystal with air coating. The sandwich style dial looks great. I appreciate the shape of the indices, and the overall style and functionality is much appreciated. And kudos to DIY for not replicating a Rolex dial. The date complication is functional, and the white frame around the date aperture blends well with the other white portions of the dial. I'm also a fan of the red accents on the dial. They work great with the bezels. The lume is actually pretty good. I'm showing you the lume with the Coke bezel for that more dramatic effect. The company is using Japanese BGW9 Super Lume, and it's been applied on the hands, indices, and bezel. It's bright and glows for a few hours, so visibility in low light conditions, of course, should not be a problem. Powering this watch is a tried and tested TMI NH34 GMT movement by Seiko. When Seiko first released this movement, I knew they had gold in their hands, and I'm so happy that smaller brands are able to offer GMT watches for sub $500. So this movement is based on the Seiko 4R34 movement that was released in 2022, and it allows you to track 2 time zones via the additional red hand. Operating the movement is pretty simple. First position engages the red GMT hand, and in the second position you can interact with the hour hand and the minute hand, and of course change the date. Side note, the company also sells multifunctional time graphers, and they sent me one. That's great news for all of us, as now we're going to be able to really test the calibers in these watches I'm reviewing. This particular caliber is actually running great and not at all within those horrible Seiko parameters. With these readings, I would think I was reviewing a much more expensive watch. Lastly, I want to cover the straps. The vintage style leather strap looks beautiful, comes with a quick release system and a signed buckle, but it's stiff. But surprisingly comfortable. I love the look of the strap with all the bezels, but I'm not sure how long this strap will last. On the other hand, the black FKM rubber strap changes the game. It also comes with a quick release system and a signed buckle, and unlike the leather strap, feels a lot more premium and of course more comfortable. The watch looks a lot more modern, and I personally would probably wear it on the strap more often. On my 6 and 7/8 inch wrist, the watch feels good, but a little on the bigger side. Nonetheless, I would definitely wear it. FYI, my 9-year-old son already claimed this one, and you already know I'm all for helping him grow his collection. He has a few years to go for the watch to not look like an Invicta on his wrist, but he loves it, and his favorite bezel is also the Coke version because, well, it's shiny and it glows. Look, I personally really like what DIY watch company are doing. At first, before checking out their watches, I felt like it was gimmicky, but that's far from the truth. Their watches are well built and beautiful. However, some constructive criticism for the company, more specifically, obviously this model. The watch, in my opinion, needs to be a little thinner, and I will love an overall smaller case. The leather strap definitely needs to be upgraded. The company does offer this watch with different color dials and bezels, so I'm confident you will find something that speaks to you. So let me ask you something. Have you guys ever built a watch? How did it turn out? Let me know your thoughts on this model, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for the support. Be safe out there and stay humble.